Alright, here we go, writing equations in standard form. So a couple of key things. As stated before, you're always given one of these scenarios. It's always two pieces of information. It's either a point and a direction, 2 points, and then this is really the same thing as that, only the y-intercept is a special point. So here are the key things. Alright, you have to memorize this. You have to know that you're not allowed to have fractions in the final form. X and y are on the same side, and x term is always, cannot be negative, which means it's always positive. The x term is always positive. Again, we're going to use the point-slope form in general to start getting our equation. So that's the point-slope form given this information. Whoops. So there's two ways that you could possibly go from this to standard form. The first way is written here, so you see that common denominator, or that denominator of 3. If there were multiple fractions, you'd look for the common denominator. Distribute that 3 to both sides. Now, when you distribute it to the left, it distributes normally. 3 times the right side is just multiplying the 3 times 2/3, which gives you a 2. So you don't multiply it into the parentheses. I think that's a little confusing. That's why I think the second way is better. So now you distribute that, and that's what you end up with. Let me go over to the second way, which will get me to that same point, which, as I said, I think is better. What I do is I first distribute the 2/3. I don't mess with the left at all. I just get rid of the parentheses. That way, your first step is always the same. You're always getting rid of the parentheses. So you're always starting out, if you're not leaving it in point-slope form, you're always starting out by getting rid of the parentheses by this distribution. Now 2/3 times -3 is just going to be a -2, as you can see my work on the side there. And now I'm going to distribute by the common denominator, which is that 3. And it's easy because now I just multiply everything by 3. There's a little less selectivity in our thought there. So I do that. Again, 2/3 times 3 is 2, gives me that 2x. So you can see that these are both the same. You get the same point. So on the next slide, I'm just going to have this equation transcribed over there. So here we go. Now we want to move the x term to the left and eliminate the number term on the right, and move the number term to the right. Gives us this, but we have a -x, which is not allowed, so we're going to distribute by that -1, and there is our final result. Yay. There's your U-try, a couple of similar examples, same thing, different numbers, and a little different scenario. Here we're given 2 points. Well, it's really just the same deal. The only difference is getting the formula. We use a point-slope form just like we did in the previous topic. So, get my slope. That gives me this equation. I picked the one with the smaller numbers just because that's how I do. And distribute, because I like that way better. Distribute that common denominator, and it gives me this. Subtract the x from both sides. Add the 6 to both sides to cancel that out. And that's going to give me that. I got a -x, so I can distribute by a -1, and there we go. Sweet. One more. This is really easy. It's going to give you the y. So this automatically is going to give us the slope-intercept form. So I write that. I'm going to, again, distribute by that common denominator. And then I'm going to subtract the x over. And oh, shucks, it's negative. So I'm going to multiply by that -1. And there we go. DONE. Enjoy your U-tries, and I'll see you next class.